Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Tunnel Rat. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm excited for this one too. And as you can see, we have our O-ring back here, so we will be comparing it to this. I will tell you one thing that this one I already know doesn't have that this one does, and that is my original Devilfish peg broken off in his foot. So I can pretty much promise you this one will not have it. Anyway, I am excited to get this guy out. He's got the big M60. He is made to look like the O-ring figure that we got, who, if you don't know, is based off Larry Hama, who, if you don't know, wrote the comic book and almost, I think, the majority of the file cards. Basically, he is G.I. Joe, not the cartoon, but that's just me. Anyway, here it is. Again, wonderful figure there. You got the Easter eggs in the back, which I say, which I make a comment about the comic, not the TV show, but the bell goes back to the actual cartoon. Anyway, here you have all his weapons, and then you have some more artwork. Here you have the file card, number 83. Again, it leads you nowhere. I'm not going to go into it. You have the artwork here, and here we have everything. And again, this is my overseas exclusive. If you wait for Pulse, EE, BBTS, you won't get this. Amazon, well, Amazon, you might get a big label slapped right on the top. But that's anyway. So there's this. There's the height of the actual figure. As I mentioned, I really do like it. You get his insignia of what team that he's with, and again, I just think they do a wonderful job. And again, it's time to stop looking at this. But before we do, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe video. Now, before we get in to start looking at this, I found this on one of the G.I. Joe Classified Facebook groups. I did cut out the guy's name. I'm not trying to take credit for it, and I'm not trying to omit the guy. I just don't know if he would want his name blasted on YouTube. But he posted the reason why a tunnel rat who's based on Vietnam would have a machine gun, an M60, and have a revolver. So, before we get into it, I'm going to take you. I'm going to put it up here for a couple seconds. You can pause it and read through it. So, let's look at this. Alright, so he is out. Now, listen, I don't know if that description that the guy gave or the reasoning that he gave is exactly correct. Maybe some of you military guys could tell me if he was right on, if he's partially right. And again, I didn't put his name on because I don't know if he wants his name blasted all over YouTube, and I'm definitely not there to criticize him or take credit for it. I just thought it was a pretty reasonable explanation of the reason why they would have a big giant machine gun. Again, remember, this is based off the 80s figure, which would still be based off the Vietnam era. So anyway, here he is. Artwork looks good, and I gotta say, in black and white, this art looks really good just because you figure he's gonna be kind of dirty and muddy. So, Tunnel Rat, 83, Upside Down G.I. Joe, Upside Down 83. You know my feelings on this. If you don't watch an old video, I'm not gonna get into that one anymore. Alright, so, original Tunnel Rat, I only have his backpack and his giant machine gun with extremely large sniper, and I have his backpack. I don't have the flashlights. I do not have his satchel. So let's quickly take a look at the backpack. So here we go. It is, well, I guess there is a shade of paint app right there. So the latches do look different, and again, it's little things like that that I mentioned in some of the other videos that I think look pretty good. So looking at these two here, this is how it goes, I believe, or I'm confused. I'm trying to think here. Why would the, yeah. Okay, so there you go. Obviously, it just has a bunch of pouches. They made the pouches on the side bigger. Again, it's very similar, very squarish. Lots of right angles. But again, not the exact same, but very similar. And obviously that is where our flashlights are going to go. Now, I know some people have criticized why they would have the flashlights in this era. People say, pick an era. I say, it's G.I. Joe, just let it go. So, they did put the green on the inside of the light, and I believe Bees Battleground mentioned how that is very realistic, and that's what you would be using, probably because it means that the light won't go as far for the enemy to see, but a nice little detail to it. I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to pop this thing in here. So now it's going to be right over his shoulders. There's two of them. Right over his shoulders. So he can see as he's walking, and you don't want to carry it. All right. Then we have his vision goggles. I can't believe I almost said that. His night vision goggles. It's the 4 Nox, right? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Again, they put green on it. I think it looks nice. I've already heard people criticize and say, well, why would he have flashlights if he has this? Like, shut up. Anyway, let's not raise the blood pressure today. Again, it looks pretty good. And again, they're doing the same thing so you can use this on multiple figures. So you don't have to worry about this being a complete tight fit to stay right where it needs to be. The same thing that they did with Firefly. All right. And then he has the satchel. It's pliable, so it's going to hang over pretty easily. I could also see this eventually breaking, but it's not too thin. It has some nice little details to it. It looks more like a man purse, but hey. No paint apps on this. Again, they kind of make it wavy on the side or on the back because that's how a bag would be. But that looks pretty good. Again, I like that it's more pliable here. I don't like that I dropped it. I think this will make it move around a little bit easier. All right. Then we have his revolver. Revolver has does not have a port for blast effects, which I'm fine with. Handle is brown. It's a nice little revolver. Again, not too much to it, but I think it looks pretty nice. Is this the first? Well, I guess they've done somewhat of a revolver with Major Blood, but not an actual real-world looking revolver. So I think it looks good. Trigger is in the not cocked position. Then we got his knife. There we go. It is pliable, not too sharp, not going to cut anyone. Has the paint app on the blade, so it doesn't look just black, which you gotta say, when you just have a regular black knife, it just is very dull. All right, so let's grab his machine gun with the giant scope. Now let's quickly look at it, and a little bit of bend to it. Again, it can be corrected. I'd rather not have to. This feels tighter. So it feels like a harder plastic. So if I do have to heat it up, well, I won't have to heat it up and straighten it out. I feel like it may actually stay in the position that it's supposed to, unlike Rock and Roll's M60, which does not stay in place. So, just like Rock and Roll's, it has the bipod that folds down, which I really do like. They made a different color, so it kind of matches his outfit. So when it goes up into position, it goes back to where it's supposed to be. So you don't have to have two different bipods that you're going to be taking in and out and possibly breaking the C-clip on it. When this folds out, again, they fold out in that upside down V, so you can make a nice, yeah. All right, so as you know, I like to get everything done in one take, so you can see that it's exactly how it is. But when you have a sneezing fit, you either have to sneeze on camera or you're going to stop it. So, as I was saying, bipod goes up into position where it's supposed to, and then it comes down into its upside down V, so it can set. It feels a little, again, this gun feels more sturdy than the Rock and Roll. Looking at it, it looks extremely nice here. They gave it some nice paint apps, some green here, green on the stock here. Scope doesn't look bad. Again, why do you have a scope? Well, the reason why you don't have a scope, why you do have a scope, is because this is the original and had a giant one. So quickly looking at this, they recreated the gun. You know, the stock looks how it's supposed to. The handle was absolutely huge. It would fit in a classified figure here. You can see that it had a bipod on it, but it was always collapsed. The barrel looks the same. All running up through here. They give you the exact same what is that called? I'm sorry. The holes on the barrel. I'm getting a text right now, so of course. But again, looks really nice, and you can tell they were just trying to recreate this weapon. So if I had the flashlight, you could see how it went up here. I really wish I did, but those are pretty pricey. Anyway, now we're to the figure, and let's just take a look at this figure. And I've already heard one complaint that the ammo belt is too long and that someone's modified it, and they've also glued down the neckerchief. I'm not going to do that because I don't do that. That's just me. Anyway, so quickly we'll look at the head. Up, down. It doesn't go up all that much, but again, the head is on. The neck and the head do both move. I really wish they could go up further, but because of the hair that's molded and the tie for the bandana on the back, it's not going to go up. Articulation, we'll do this really quickly here. T-pose, you know what, we're going to lose this because that is way too loose, and we'll modify that in our own way. So T-pose here, bicep swivel, and this is right out of the box, no issues there. Pinless joints, double pinless, looks really nice. Wrists move back and forth. The Jean-Claude Van Damme, he has a wonderful Jean-Claude Van Damme with some really big drop down hips. Again, not a big fan, but that's the best way to get them up and down. Big ab crunch. He can go back. He does move side to side, and this one feels really nice. Some of them, when you're trying to go side to side, you feel like you're going to break that dumbbell in the middle. This one does not. Again, like the rest of this wave, this figure feels extremely solid when bending the knees. It actually feels a little bit harder, which isn't a bad thing. So, double pinless joints, pinless knees, not joints. And let's see here. So, no boot cut here, but he does have a boot cut all the way on the bottom. So, goes back and forth, up and down. So you're still going to get the same articulation with the boot cut. All right, you got the thigh cut. Now, this will obstruct it from kicking his own ass, but that's fine. I can't do that in real life. And again, so the boot cut is right down here. It's hard to see, but it will keep it so you can actually hit those poses the way you're supposed to. It doesn't take away from the articulation. And again, you have your ankle rockers. So now let's do what we came here for, and that is compare the figures. So we have already removed the ammo belt, but as you can see, they even did the same colors with the ammo belt. So you have these white bullets, and then you have this dark green that goes through it. So I'm going to take his revolver, throw it up there. We're not going to throw satchel on there because our guy doesn't have it. And then where'd our knife go? Take our knife and we'll throw it in the sheath. All right. So let's compare these two head sculpts. So looking at this figure, I think this face looks really good. He does look like a young kid. So this would be a young Larry Hama. You know, some people have made comments that this one is based off Larry Hama. This one is based off the 25th anniversary, but isn't the 25th anniversary based off this one? Which means that this would still be based off this. Anyway. So, he has the bandana on the side. Is it called the bandana? I don't know. I don't wear these. So, if I'm wrong, then correct me. He does have the, not the makeup, the camouflage face, so he can go through and maybe not blend in as easy and get killed. He's got the bandana that goes around his neck, again, or the neckerchief, I'm sorry, the neckerchief. Now, they kind of just hid where the holster for the sidearm was on this, and again, this is supposed to be a revolver here. Wow, they obviously made it a real holster. Looks good. They did give him the GoPro up here, and they gave him the grenade, Which, look, it's up there too. It was just the exact same color, so it always blended in. And then up on top here, where the holster is supposed to be going around, they didn't give it any texture or anything like that, and that's fine. Very similar green. They gave him the camouflage on the arms, along with the gloves, but they gave him fingerless gloves, which they didn't here, and I think doing that on an O-ring would have been a little bit more difficult. On this side here, exact same thing. Now, he does not have an insignia over here, and one has not rubbed off or anything like that. And let's see if it says something there. It just says Tunnel Rat. So I believe this is a made-up thing, unlike some of the other ones that they've done. Opening it up, look at the belt. You can tell they made the belt very similar. It's that rectangular, the kind of rectangular. It's hard for me to speak. Here his knife is on the side. Now they gave him a few other pouches here along with the sheath. I'm perfectly fine with that. They did the brown. And on the side here, they gave him what was probably some sort of, you know, med pack or pack. Again, someone will probably call me out being wrong. That's fine. I'm okay. This one does have knee pads. I'm perfectly fine with that. I know people have already talked about replacing the legs, painting the pants. Do what you want to do. And then he had his cowboy boots, or what looked like cowboy boots on the original. I'm okay with them giving the same color actual military-style boots. Because, let's be honest, cowboy boots don't really seem to make a lot of sense in the jungles of Vietnam. Alright, so throw that over there. Let's throw this up here. And what I'm probably going to end up doing, and I don't have any around me, which is odd, I almost always have some, is I'm going to probably just take a little bit of sticky tack and just see if I can sticky tack that down. Tony's Figs, he actually shortened this, so I'm assuming he cut it and then he glued it, and so now it's shorter, so it stays on better the way that it's supposed to. This is too large. There is absolutely no doubt about that. So quickly, let's see how he looks with his night vision. So just going to pop that over there. It does fit nice and snug there. Now, I don't believe these things actually raise up and down. I'm trying to see if there's any type of hinge. Now, it looks like they're just, that's how they're supposed to be. So it's just going to kind of roll over and fit on his head. So now it makes me wonder. Let's take Firefly here. Take off Fireflies. And let's just see if it fits on Firefly. Alright, so that just fits on Firefly. Fireflies probably go right over. So they're all universal. And look at this. What a concept. Figures that are actually different heights. Where I know some manufacturers, every figure is the exact same height. Here, we got a little bit of a difference, which I like, and that's what it's showing you on the back, and I always mention that. Some people don't like that. Okay. Oh, I also forgot to mention, on the machine gun, here you have the ammo and the ammo box. I would assume this is going to last him roughly 3 seconds. But hey, your imagination. Make that ammo last longer. Put it on the right way. Nope. Bullets go this way. Now, it would have been nice had they made it so you could also use rock and rolls. Ammo belt in here. But there you go. That looks good. Now let's try and arm him up. So he's going to be running around with this big machine gun through the tunnels, through the jungle. Who knows what jungle is? We know it's not Vietnam anymore because we're no longer at war with Vietnam, believe it or not. I mean, it took like 20 years, but hey, that's war for you. Anyway, I know this is not political. I don't want to hear from anyone. I really don't. All right, satchel. I'm going to throw over here. So he has a lot of stuff, and again, a lot goes back to having it on the O-ring. Got his big old backpack. Now, loading him up is going to be not the easiest thing in the world. That is for sure. He seems like he has smaller hands, and this handle seems kind of big to where he doesn't really want to hold it. And then you have the ammo belt, which, I mean, might be in the way, might not be in the way. This figure is probably going to take a little bit of finessing. I gotta say, his hands are they're tighter than it seems like most of the other classified. Not sure why, but you can easily reach the hand around. But as you can see, I am struggling to get a decent pose right away. And the more stuff you add like this, the more you're gonna have to put that on after, once you get it in the pose, and then figure out how you're gonna want to. So as you can see, this figure is not going to be the easiest to pose with this giant machine gun. How is he going to look with this revolver? Throw this on here. Even the revolver, maybe it's his hand is just closed too tight, which isn't a bad thing. He does have butterfly joints. I did kind of forget to mention that. I don't feel the classifieds that they're able to use the butterfly joints nearly as well as you would hope, as they cannot get their hands really together. So you have to do a lot of finagling to make it work. It'd be nice if the butterfly joints made it so the hands hit, but they don't. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap this up, because really you're kind of seeing that this one is gonna take some time to get in good position. Now, I think he looks nice. Like, I get him in a pretty good position with the classic gun. Of course, I have to retighten the hand. I told you the handle is so big on this one. It actually doesn't look that bad. Again, it looks like some sort of futuristic weapon that he would have. So, not that bad. And the scope actually is smaller. This scope is bigger than the classified. So, all right, so there's the figure. Let me get him in some good positions, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this. All right, final first impression of this guy is he's exactly what you want for the most part as a recreation of our O-ring, but there is a lot wrong. I believe his hands seem too small for either one of the guns, which means pretty much any of the guns are probably going to be too big for his hands. You really have to pry. He has too much going around the right side, where I know you have the gun belt, you have the satchel, then you have the holster. There's too much there that now it's all hanging there, and it's also impeding when you're trying to get this big M60 on there. The figure looks absolutely wonderful, but there's too much, and when you're looking at the O-ring and you're trying to recreate it, it just causes a problem. So aesthetically, he looks good, but gonna have to do some different things with the weapons, unless he's gonna be laid down suppressing fire. That's my final thought. All right, so that's the final review of the Tunnel Rat. I really wanted to love this figure, and I love aesthetically the way it looks and everything that it comes with, but in the first half hour, there's just something that doesn't work with it. Everything is there, but unfortunately, everything is there, and that causes a problem. But anyway, you watch the review, make your own decision. Obviously, I picked it up, and I'm not going to tell you not to get it, because it's a wonderful looking figure. Roman obviously thinks so too. He came over here. So anyway, I am going to get out of here. But you know the deal, okay? Social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, a Punk with Toys. The Facebook group page, Punks with Toys. Because once you join, you're a Punk with Toys. It is growing. It really is. I want to get some more chatter going on there. No politics, no BS, no drama. I don't care about that crap. I don't need that in my life. I'm an adult. Anyway, last but not least, if you like the content that I'm giving you, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I do drop a G.I. Joe video. But I'm going to get out of here. You stayed this long. Roman's over here. He's causing a wreck. He wants to probably go outside. But don't leave, because you stayed this long. Up here, I'll drop one of the recent videos that I did of G.I. Joe. And here's the classified playlist of everything else that I've done. Take care.